The quarterfinals at Wimbledon are set. My name's Anthony Hirsch, and welcome to the tennis commentary booth. So, we have the 4 quarterfinals set. We finished up play today on the men's side. Eubanks, Medvedev, Djokovic finished his match. We had Rune, Dimitrov, Berrettini versus Alcaraz. And what I want to do in this video is go over the 4 quarterfinals. We have Alcaraz versus Rune. We have Daniil Medvedev taking on Chris Eubanks. We have big hitter Jannik Sinner taking on a surprise run from Roman Safiullin. We have Andre Rublev, who had a miracle shot versus Bublik that I will be replaying all year, versus Novak Djokovic. So I want to go over every single quarterfinal. I'm very excited for how this tournament is shaping out to be. I mean, Alcaraz versus Rune. Let's start there. Alcaraz taking on Rune. The battle of the 20-year-olds. They're born 6 days apart. Carlos 40-4 on the season. Rune is 33-12. Both great seasons. Rune 2 Masters finals. And Alcaraz 2 Masters titles. So that's kind of where we start. But they're 1-1 in their head-to-head. Alcaraz, but one of those is the Next Gen Finals, which obviously you play up to 4 games, and I don't know why it counts in the head-to-head. Laver Cup and Next Gen Finals, to me, I don't really agree with them counting for the head-to-head. If Davis Cup counts, I like Davis Cup counting, but I'm not a huge fan of those 2 events counting personally. Next Gen Finals is played first to 4, and it doesn't count for points. It doesn't, I don't know. It's a bit weird to me. I know that counts for money, but it doesn't count for much aside from that. But anyway, it's that's one of them. Alcaraz won his match against Rune at the Next Gen Finals, and Rune won against Alcaraz in a high-level match last year in Paris. But Rune really pulled out and was the better player. Alcaraz was not himself at the end of the season. In fact, he had to retire at the end of Paris, and then he didn't even play the ATP Finals with that same injury. So I don't know. I feel like this will be the first proper Alcaraz Rune match that we get. And why shouldn't it be at Wimbledon? Alcaraz will be going for his first Wimbledon semifinal. This is his first Wimbledon quarterfinal. And Rune will be going for his first major semifinal, amazingly. He reached the Roland Garros quarterfinals last year. Then he didn't do well at Wimbledon. I don't remember what happened U.S. Open. I don't think he did particularly well at U.S. Open. He lost a tight one to Rublev in Australia, and again, he lost the quarters of RG. He hasn't made a major semifinal, which is kind of amazing, because he's made 3 Masters finals, and he's been around a little bit, but very good season last year. Obviously ended with a Paris run, a Paris title, beating 5 top 10 players. But yeah, he's never made a major semifinal. It would be kind of cool if that major semifinal is at Wimbledon, where I don't know why nobody's talking about Rune on grass. I've said before, I'm not the highest on Holger Rune compared to some other players, but I've been really impressed. Even before the season started, I was like, okay, it was good in Paris, but watch out for him on the clay. He looked really good on the clay in 2022, and that wasn't even the best version of him. So I was not surprised by him doing really well on clay. I do continue to think that'll be his best surface. I do think he can play on all 3, though. I'm not the highest on Rune compared to some of the other guys. I'll stand by that. But I am a high on his mentality, very high on his mentality. And I've been impressed by some of the stuff I've seen. He's a very talented, quick player. I think Rune is going to be very good. I'm just not as high as some other people in terms of the peaks that he'll get to. But I'll be happy to be proven wrong. I love the discourse. If you're a Rune fan, that's great. We need Holger Rune. I like all the different personalities in the sport. This isn't hate on Rune. It's just, I'm personally, there's a multitude of reasons that I'm not as high on him, which I'm not going to get to now. But he's a fantastic player, and I say that because I think he's going under the radar on grass. He can play on grass courts. I don't see why his game can't do well on grass. There's multiple reasons he's better on clay, but look, he has everything that he needs for the grass courts. The pace, the variety, the touch. I mean, he's got it all right there. So he's the serve for one. So he's got it all there. But yeah, let's see. In their last match, Rune's athleticism, his quickness looked good. He looked good on backhand to backhand. He was hitting a lot of backhand winners. But from the fast courts, I mean, Alcaraz, fast courts in Paris, indoors, Alcaraz has improved his serve. His movement on grass looks super, super fluid and good. And I'm not sure about Rune, compared to indoor hard courts, if he'll be moving quite as well. The movement was a big thing for Rune in that match, actually. I'm not sure if Alcaraz was injured from the get-go or what, but Rune's quickness compared to Alcaraz was a big thing there, and I'm not sure it'll be the same on grass. I say that because Alcaraz has looked like he's moving pretty well on grass, I would say. A big thing is his timing. He felt rushed a lot of the time. He wasn't getting into position to hit a lot of his same shots. He likes to have time to set up for his shots, and he doesn't get that time on grass, but now he's getting the timing down better. And yeah, you just think that comes with experience, and it has, so... I expect Carlos to do better here. Also, I still have questions about the stamina of Rune, which is one reason I'm not quite as high on him, but it's not the biggest one. But the stamina of Rune is a big thing. But listen, Rune's a great player. He's doing really well to clutch out in a lot of big matches. He's hitting the forehand very big. He's serving well. I expect him to be tough. But Carlos is hitting that forehand absolutely massive. He was hitting Berrettini forehands against the man himself. But I'm expecting a lot of dynamic rallies. Holger has a lot of variety, a lot of tools that can hurt Alcaraz. I think Rune is a little bit under the radar on the grass, but Alcaraz is as well. 9-match win streak since Queens. Like I said, 40-4 on the season. So anyway, I say all of that. I am taking Alcaraz. I'm giving the edge to Alcaraz, although I do think Rune is getting under the radar. I take Alcaraz in 3 or 4 sets. I'll take him in 4 sets. I think it'll be tight, though. I'm taking Alcaraz in a tight 4-set match. I'm expecting 3 tight 4-set matches in a row for Carlos. Against Jari, which is the toughest of the 2 he's played so far. Then against Matteo. Alcaraz was pretty much the better player throughout, especially after the kind of end of the second set, where Matteo started serving much worse on his serve. He was giving Alcaraz a lot of chances anyway, and I don't know. He really just started hitting a lot more errors, and Alcaraz was a better player from jump. But yeah, I think the movement is gonna go more towards Alcaraz. I think that he's gonna feel more fit, and I'm expecting forehands. He's gonna be killer, and backhand to backhand will be interesting. There's gonna be interesting things, a lot of dynamic rallies, but I love how Alcaraz has played. I'm giving the edge to Carlos. Rune will probably do better on serve, but the thing that really strikes me is that Alcaraz looked really, really good on serve against Berrettini, and he really has ever since his match against Rinderknecht in the first round of Queens, where he probably made only like 3 or 4 first serves. But since then, Alcaraz has served well, even though Rune will probably serve better. Almost everything else I like more for Alcaraz on the grass, and that puts me in it's going to be a small margin, tight victory, but I think it's going to be a victory for Carlos in 4 sets. Then we got Medvedev versus Eubanks. And Medvedev versus Eubanks. Christopher Eubanks is a guy that I've known about for a while. One-hander. I saw him in Georgia Tech. I saw him at the Atlanta Open, which is crazy. I've known about him for a while. It's crazy to me that he's doing what he's doing now. I watched him play college tennis in person a couple of times. And I'll be honest, I wasn't super this is the guy. I don't remember. It's a long time ago now, 7 or 8 years ago. There was a lot of people playing, but I did see him, and I specifically sought out to look for him at the Atlanta Open because I saw him play college tennis. He was playing with Donald Young in doubles, and I saw him play there. And yeah, it's just crazy what he's doing now, because I thought I saw the potential, the fearlessness, the one-hander. I liked his game. I liked his mentality, but I mean, this is crazy what he's done. Quarterfinals of Miami, after being outside the 150 in the world to end February. And Eubanks rises to now 31 in the live ranks. He beat Tsitsipas from 2 sets to 1 down. I mean, Eubanks is looking like he could just have one of these kind of nothing to lose runs like Ivanisevic and just come out of nowhere. Not like Ivanisevic, because Ivanisevic was a top player before he won, but he just feels like seems like he has absolutely nothing to lose. And he seems like he wants it. And I would be the first person to be ecstatic. But anyway, aside from my subjectivity towards Eubanks, my liking of Eubanks, objectively, I think he has a shot. And I'll tell you why. I know that sounds crazy, and it sounds like I'm not being objective, but I would, with great certainty say that I'm objectively saying that I think Medvedev has a shot. He just beat top 5 seed Tsitsipas in 5 sets. He's on a 10-match winning streak on grass. Medvedev is not as comfortable on grass. They played in Miami quarterfinals where Eubanks had a shot. He was up 3-2. I reckon Eubanks will know that he had a shot and want to avenge that. This is a time where I think he'll have confidence because he knows that Medvedev felt uncomfortable in that match. Actually, earlier today, he spoke on the ESPN desk and he said, listen, I know Medvedev felt uncomfortable in that match. He switched up his serve position. And as a tennis commentator, I know that he knows that Medvedev doesn't do that often. That's what he said. Medvedev started standing in closer. Listen, Medvedev doesn't do that on grass. He still stands far back, and he can't do that on grass. For a big serve like Eubanks, that's very difficult to stand in. Eubanks has been very tough serving. If Medvedev is not used to returning like that, it's going to be very tough for him to adapt to Eubanks' serve the way he's been serving on the grass courts. I think that's a great matchup for Eubanks against Medvedev. Medvedev can get troubled with the serve and volley play. It takes time away from Medvedev's game. And yeah, there's just a lot that really kind of hurts Daniel when people take time away from him. Medvedev likes to kind of counter punch and set up shots and hit shots from difficult positions, but he likes to stand way far back. If a person is coming to net and volleying and cutting off his shots before he can really set up the point, then it really takes away from Daniel in a big way. But yeah, Eubanks is the ultimate serve and volley. He's taking over from Feli Lopez now. Lopez retired last week, and Eubanks said, you know what, I'm going to win Mallorca, though. Lopez retired in Mallorca, and Eubanks said, you know what, I'm going to take over the serve and volley mantle. I'm going to keep the breaths alive for the serve and volley game, the classic serve and volley game. You know what, I have a one-hander, too. And Eubanks took it over, and I think I don't think it's going away completely. I really don't. I don't think so. With people drop shotting as they are, the net play would cut off people from drop shotting as much. Also, people standing so far back like Daniil Medvedev. Listen, the tennis game is going to keep changing with people now adding in so many drop shots, which is a change we've seen in the last 3 years with Alcaraz especially. People are going to start coming to net more. With players like Medvedev standing so far back, people are going to come to net more. Eubanks is... in kind of a long way around, Eubanks is the start. He's the start for people volleying more. But he took out Tsitsipas in the last round in 5 sets. I just feel like he's a great matchup for Medvedev. That being said, I don't know if I'd pick him. I don't know if I'd pick him. But you know what? Screw it. It's my video. I can do whatever I want. I'm manifesting... I'm hoping and manifesting for a Eubanks win in, I don't know, four sets. I don't really give a shit. Medvedev's probably going to win. He can play well on grass. He's the top player. I don't know who's going to win, but I'm excited to see. But yeah, shout out Eubanks because he's 27 years old. He was outside the top 150, 153 in the world at the end of February. He's a great player. This is a great run no matter what. And back in May on Twitter, at Commentary Booth on Twitter. I'm at Commentary Booth on Twitter. Tennis Commentary Booth with Anthony Hirsch. In May, I said, mark my words, Eubanks is going to do great on the grass. His aggressive game is going to do wonders on the grass courts. And mic drop. Sinner versus Safiullin. People go, who? Roman Safiullin. The only time I've seen this guy play was ATP Cup last year. He was kind of the MVP of the Russian team. I thought he looked fantastic at ATP Cup. I was super impressed. I saw him play Jannik Sinner down there. I saw him play with Medvedev a few games against this really good team. I think who was it? I forgot the name of the guy, but a really good French player. But they got the win down there. He also beat Arthur Rinderknecht in a tough match. Safiullin was like ranked outside of the top 300 or something. He beat Rinderknecht, who was like inside the top 80 in the world or something. He played crazy over there. Real MVP to kind of push the Russian team forward. Kind of like Karatsev the year prior. And I really thought he was going to go on a Karatsev run. But then he kind of fell off the face of the earth. But he's back now. Medvedev at the start of the season predicted that Safiullin was going to be the dark horse for the season. He's looking right now. Safiullin always looks great. I've kind of researched his game now too and looked up more matches. He always looks great. It's kind of just like he himself said that the mental side has been the toughest for him to figure out, but he's figured it out here. How'd he get to the quarters? That's the big question, okay? How'd he get to the quarters? Well, he beat Batista Gu in 5 sets, 7-5 in the 5th set against the 20th seed. former semifinalist, 7-5 in a tight 5th set. He pulled that one out. And then he beat, who'd he beat after that? He beat Mute in straight sets. Mute's been playing great, and he likes the grass court, so that was impressive to me too. Then he beat Peja, who did have to make it to the 3rd round. And then he beat Shapovalov from a set down. Safiullin's earned kind of his route here. Whether you like it or not, whether you like their form or not, Roman Safiullin has beaten 2 former Wimbledon semifinalists on the route to the quarterfinal. That's just a fact. He's beaten RBA, who reached the final in, when was it, 2019. And he beats Shapovalov, who got to the final in 2021. That's 2 semifinalists from the last 3 times that Wimbledon has been held. I'm just naming facts. But yeah, anyway, about Safiullin, I mean, the last time that they played, a big thing was Sinner saved 11 of 12 break points, and he's only improving on serve. Safiullin wasn't able to convert very much. Sinner broke twice himself. It was a tight match, though. It was 7-6, 8-6 in the first set tiebreaker, then 6-3. I remember that match. Safiullin really impressed me. Rome, his career high is 82. He's currently sitting at 43 in the live ranks. He'd be 28 in the world with a win. He won a challenger on the indoor hard in late January. He beat Tommy Paul and Nicolas Jarry back-to-back in Madrid. He's had a few wins. He beat Giron and Korda in Rome. And he likes the faster courts, it seems, even more. He beat Karatsev and Halle before losing a tight one to Struff. By the way, if Struff was playing Wimbledon, then just everybody in the field would just give up, because Struff was playing just absolutely phenomenal. It's such a shame he couldn't play Wimbledon, because he was in the form of his life. I'd most likely be talking about him in the preview as well, if he was able to play. But health is a real thing. Yeah, but Safiullin has a really solid backhand. I really like his backhand. Safiullin seems to be able to get a great angles and precision just out of nowhere. That's the thing I remembered from ATP Cup. On the backhand, he has a really strong kind of, right wrist on that shot. Sinner notoriously has the strongest average backhand on the tour, but Jannik might not destroy him backhand to backhand. I remember he didn't really in that match in ATP Cup. Really strong backhand, and Safiullin can get great angles and position. The problem is Safiullin, he hasn't had a really consistent big hitter in this event so far, and his game seems to break down when he goes against a big hitter, and Sinner is a big hitter. So anyway, Sinner is the better player. You already know what result I'm going. I'm going Sinner. I think Sinner will pick it up. If Sinner plays the same level as he did in the last round, I'm going Sinner in 4 sets, actually. But I'm going to go Sinner in 3 sets. I think he's going to pick it up and clutch it up. He's more used to the moment, way more used to the moment. I think he's going to make that extra push to get to a semifinal. He kind of did in Indian Wells earlier this year in the quarterfinals versus Fritz. He beat a top five Fritz, Taylor Fritz, defending champion. 3-set match. He made that extra push, made it to a major semi for the first time since Miami in 2021. He did that in Indian Wells against Fritz. I think he'll make a similar push here to get to his first major semifinal. He'll make that extra push. But yeah, Sinner's had a great season. He's had a good Wimbledon. He's played well. I think he can always pick it up. He's had an amazing draw, has Jannik. There's no ins or outs about it. But shout out to Sinner anyway. You can only win against the players who are in front of you. And those players had to take out the players that you would say would make it a tough draw. They had to beat the seeds, like RBA, like whoever else. Safiullin beat RBA in the first round. Then we have Rublev versus Djokovic. And listen, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not counting Rublev out completely. I'm not saying it's going to be tough. But listen, Rublev hit one of the best shots of all time. One of the most replayable points we've ever seen that I am so happy I got to see live. I'm more happy I got to see that live than the Alcaraz shot against Djokovic. Both of those points completely dropped my jaw to the floor. Same with the Sinner Alcaraz rally earlier in the year. I saw that one live too. And the Alcaraz pass against Jarry. Yibing Wu's pass against Isner in Dallas too at 4-3 in the second set. I've seen a lot of great points live this year. I didn't see the Murray returning smashes versus Kokkinakis. I didn't see Hurkacz's tweener. There was a bunch of points I didn't see. But I've seen a lot of great rallies this year live, which I'm very excited about, actually. Tsitsipas around the net at Roland Garros. I was commentating on Quality Shot, actually, while that was happening. And I was actually watching the Rublev Bublik because the match on after that match was going to be Swiatek versus Bencic, and I was commenting for that for Quality Shot Tennis. By the way, check out Quality Shot Tennis. I'm doing a bunch of streams over there. I'm going to be doing streams for the rest of Wimbledon. I'm very excited. So definitely check that out. I'm super pumped. But yeah, Rublev's been around a while. He has the grass experience. He has the confidence of beating Bublik, who beat him in a grass court final. He's already reached a grass court final this year. I do like Rublev on the grass courts and his potential on grass courts. He beat him. He lost to Bublik in the final. He got his revenge here in a tight match. He's going to have confidence, some confidence. He's also beaten Novak. There are very few players who can say that they've beaten Novak. Novak's only lost, 205 matches, something? So, the fact that he's beaten Novak at Belgrade in a final last year at least speaks to something. The other match he had was Australian Open quarterfinal. Rublev keeps getting these shitty draws, where he gets to play against Novak. And then the other two matches were at ATP finals, where Djokovic just always plays so well and so clutch. But yeah, if somebody does beat Novak, then they're going to be playing just miracle shots like he did on that dive against Bublik, but it's only going to be tough. Listen, big hitters have hurt Novak at Wimbledon. Sinner last year, the last time Novak lost, he lost to Thomas Berdych. But listen, it's going to be tough. I mean, Rublev is a very skilled player. I'm actually very high on his skill levels, despite not even before that crazy dive that he hit. I've been high on his skill levels. It takes a lot of skill to hit such angles and precision off of hard forehands and keep them in, point out. He's a hard worker. He's a big fighter. I think he's a hell of a player. Very consistent, very tough for all the guys outside of the top 5, top 10. But I mean, largely he's a lot of his game is power, and he doesn't have a whole lot of variety that can hurt Novak. Not a lot that can hurt Novak. So it's a hard matchup for Rublev. But listen, they haven't played on grass courts, and grass courts do help out the parts of Rublev's game that if he can hurt Novak, then I think would hurt Novak. But Novak surely overwhelming favorite. And I'm not even sure that Rublev has the confidence himself. So, but Rublev has the experience. He is 15-7 on grass. And he's only getting more and more experience. He couldn't play Wimbledon last year. He likes to hit balls hard off the rise. But I just don't think Rublev has enough to hurt Novak. I take Novak in 3 sets. I take Novak in straight sets. So, just because I wanted so badly, I'm going Eubanks over Medvedev. Listen, I saw the guy play in college. I like the matchup. If Eubanks played any other one of these quarterfinalists, maybe outside Safiullin, that I would take. Imagine Eubanks Safiullin in the quarterfinals. But listen, I'm taking Eubanks. I'm taking Alcaraz. I'm taking Sinner, and I'm taking Djokovic. I'm taking Djokovic over Sinner. I already did my draw preview. This is not the quarterfinals I predicted, but it's not completely off. And I'm taking Alcaraz over Medvedev or Eubanks. I guess Eubanks in my weird hypothetical that I'm picking, but manifesting Eubanks to win. And then I'm picking Djokovic over Alcaraz in 4 sets. In 4 sets, like the last couple of finals. But thank you guys for watching. That was my breakdown of the quarterfinals. I'll be here for more matches as well. Maybe I'll preview the final or something. I hope to do more with my face too, whether it's with my studio setup or with another thing, whether it's with my webcam or another camera I got. I'll try to do more with my face as well rather than just audio, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. That was my breakdown of the 4 men's quarterfinals. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out my stream for Quality Shot Tennis. I'll link their channel in the description. That's a great channel anyway, not just for my streams, but check out my streams for sure. I've had a lot of fun doing my streams over there, so definitely check it out. And yeah, Eubanks versus Medvedev. Just to quickly recap before we go, because I like a nice little recap. Alcaraz versus Rune, first real proper match, next gen, or next gen, next gen, whatever you want. I mean, if you count in Federer, Tsonga was kind of a next gen, let alone guys like Dimitrov and Nishikori and Kyrgios and whatever, and then you had Tsitsipas and Zverev. This is like the next gen that we're seeing right now. Nishikori, Raonic. But anyway, that's going to be a real matchup. I kind of like Alcaraz a little bit more, and I like him more at majors so far. So I'm taking Alcaraz. Medvedev versus Eubanks. Eubanks looks like he's not doesn't want to stop just yet. He doesn't want to stop just yet. I hope for a good match in that one. That's all I hope for. And I like the matchup against Medvedev, but Medvedev is tough, and he deserves a Wimbledon semifinal. He is good on grass courts. And why shouldn't he be? In Sinner versus Safiullin, I got Sinner, but shout out Safiullin. I loved him at ATP Cup, and I think when he plays well, he's going to be very tough. He has great angles and precision just out of nowhere. Very strong wrist on that backhand. I mean, the right wrist on that backhand. Just very strong backhand. Rublev, Djokovic. I hope Rublev proves me wrong. I got Djokovic in straight sets. That's my recap. And thank you guys for watching. Sub to the channel. Tennis Commentary Booth with Anthony Hirsch. I'll be doing a lot more over here on this channel. Thank you guys for watching. Come back, come back, come back. Thank you for watching.